For my animatic this year, I've decided not to just film my storyboard, which is just up on my board. I've decided to speak along with my storyboard. Well, basically what I've done is colour coordinated each post-it note on my A3 piece of paper, so that the pink is usually just like the beginning of the ending, or like any time that I think I could put in like a reference to the logo or to the band name or anything like that. And then the blue is usually going to be my narrative, and then the yellow will be my performance. I've also like squiggled all around each of the narrative to say which brother it is and what they'll be doing inside it. So the first post-it note is just explaining how I'm going to start it off. My idea is to perhaps have a establishing shot and then having it panning down so that it just fades into the video, like just a beginning, and I'm going to have minor crisis written on that establishing shot, or perhaps on a black or white screen, depending on what fits at the time, whether it looks like it could be simple or whether I want it plain. At the minute, I am heading more towards having a simple background, such as like a black screen with like white writing for minor crisis, for the fact that I have been looking at different indie bands and they have been doing something similar like that. If not, they usually have a sky shot and then the font, like, well, the band name written on that. So I'm thinking of that, and then I've planned out that that should be for around 2 seconds, maybe 1, just depending on how I edit the video. So the next post-it note is my narrative. But brother one in the first scene is going to wake up, so there'll be a crane shot on his face around here of him waking up, and my plan is to like unfocus that shot and then focus in as he opens his eyes, and then I'm thinking of making him blink perhaps, and then rolling over to the side and having that as a wider shot, and then as he rolls over it will be to show a picture with a bottle of alcohol in the background, in which I'll do a pull focus in the video. So the first focus will be the alcohol and then the photo to show that he is prioritising the wrong thing. Then the next post-it note is my performance. In which I've noticed in the song there is a lot of strong beats really quickly, so what I've planned to do is having fast-paced shots by switching over my band with their instruments on black screen and then a white screen, so I can have black, white, black, white, black, white. Then my next idea is to go back to the narrative and go to the second brother. So we'll be doing something similar again by showing the waking up and showing that they're in a completely different place. At this point, what the aim is that the audience think that it's some sort of deja vu or something like that, and are they friends, are they brothers, who are they? By the song lyrics you can tell that they are meant to be brothers, as they are referencing a brother in the video. So I'm planning on doing another pull focus, another picture and alcohol, but I'm also thinking now perhaps doing 2 bottles of alcohol, purely for the fact that this is the brother that is doing the biggest mistake, which is affecting brother 1. So I am thinking of having 2 bottles of alcohol instead, to show that he is alone and he doesn't have anyone to support him, therefore he's going back to making the mistake. What I'm thinking of is showing them getting out of bed, brother 1 and brother 2, and then choosing when I'm editing which one looks better. So I'm thinking of getting a getting out of bed scene of like showing a wipe over the camera using the quilt, and then getting out of bed using your feet, like going over the camera, like putting your foot over the camera, and then a walk into the bathroom scene. And then the bathroom scene, I want to do a split screen in which I'll use a GoPro, where there'll be shots of them washing the face or brushing the teeth, something natural, in which I'm hoping the audience will be able to tell by then that they are meant to be brothers and look at the similarities. Then the next post-it note is going back to the performance, in which I'll be doing some lip sync singing in that bit. The lyrics are something around, I'm sorry mother, I'm sorry I let you down, and then the second verse after that. But I've just written a note form to remember exactly what bit it is that I want. So it's the first bit that starts singing in the song, and I'm going to focus on the lead singer on that, and then perhaps doing a pull focus with the brothers in the background, if it works, depending on how close they are in the studio, because we are planning on filming it in the studio. But because there's obviously 3 of them and the studio isn't too big, I am not too sure if it will work, depending on how close we are to everything. So after that, going back to the narrative again, so I'm going to use a train station location, as that is when the lyrics are, I'll take the West train just by the side of Amsterdam, something along those lines. So I'm going to use a train station, and the idea is to show one of the brothers walking down the stairs, getting towards the train station, showing some establishing shots of like the ball, the times and stuff like that, him waiting for the train, and then I'm planning on doing a shot where there's a train going towards him, and then I'll go onto the opposite side of the train station, so it'll have like a train station wipe going across the screen, so then the audience can think, oh, has he got on the train or has he not? Like a sly enigma collide, just to make them think what's happening next, like just to keep people more interested and more alert to the video. And then after that, I'll be going back to performance again. I have tried my best to do like performance narrative, so it's not too boring and that it seems as if it's flashing slightly. And then in that performance, I'm just planning on showing off the instruments, doing some close-up shots, and then seeing which backgrounds look best, the black or the white. So I'm going to film the performance twice, once in black, once in white, and then just editing them so they can be done faster. I'm thinking of perhaps doing a dolly shot, but again, with how small it is, I'm not sure if it'll work, therefore I will try, but if it don't work, I'll have to exclude that idea, which I'll have to think of a backup idea at the time if it does not work. So far I'm thinking of just doing another pan or something like that, or a crane shot. After that, I'm going back to the narrative, in which is a car scene, so I'm planning on doing action match, and then perhaps like slinging a bag into the car, and then like doing some shots of one of the brothers like putting the gear in, doing his checks, putting his seatbelt on, turning the car keys, so doing stuff like that, and then making it look like he is on his way to the city. The next idea is again to go back to the performance. Now this is slight performance, slightly narrative. It's going to be in the studio and the outfits aren't going to change from the studio outfits. And the idea is to have both of the brothers doing a tug of war kind of look, to show like they're arguing and it's kind of like a metaphor, like they need each other. So I'm thinking of doing close-ups on their faces, close-ups of the rope, and then perhaps having the lead singer in the middle singing, or some type of overlaying on that point, because it's quite a large gap that I've left. And then I'm going to have a scene where it's showing like the rope is snapping and then like one of them's going to fall back. And on that point, that is when I will be using from my previous shot of, well, after the tug of war, one of them falling back, that same brother is going to fall back into his chair on the train. After that falling back scene, he will be sat on the train, and at that point I'm planning to use a crab shot for him to write his letter to his lover, as the lyrics are, "I'm sorry lover, I'm sorry I let you down." So I'll be doing some shots of him trying to write the letter at that point, and then scribbling stuff out to show that he's not sure what to write. And he might like throw the paper or anything like that, just to show the emotion. After that, I'm going to show a scene perhaps of him thinking he's seeing his lover. I'm going to try my best to make it a pull focus kind of thing, make it look like he's blinking again, like in the first shot that I'm planning to do, so that then he's like looking back, like, was that her, was that not? And then a scene of her actually looking at him. So it's like, is she there, is she not? We don't know. And then after that, I'm planning to do another split screen in which there'll be 3 characters at this point. It'll be brother 1, brother 2, and a mother in the middle. And the lyrics at this point are, "Your time will come if you wait for it." I thought this is the best part to use, as I can have the mother singing the lyrics at this time, so that she's like giving them advice, and I could perhaps be even like changing mother brother 1, mother brother 2, both of the brothers, and then constantly swapping between who's talking to who, depending on the beats, and seeing if the idea will work or not once it's filmed. And then another scene after that is going back to the narrative, in which case is having a cafe scene of one of the brothers just walking in when he's in the city, and he's looking around, and it's another one of them shots where are they there, are they not? And he's thinking he's just saw his brother, so he double looks yet again. Then after that, I am planning on going back to the performance, and then they're all going to lip sync a verse each. Making it like they're passing the camera along, like having handheld shots, so it's like there's brother 1, there's the lead singer, there's brother 2, all of them sing one line together at the same time. Then after that, I'm going to have some walking shots, walking to the beats, showing some establishing shots, something simple, just as a backup idea if anything doesn't work out or anything like that. So just some simple ones, maybe some overlaying might work at that time. Then after that, it will be going back to the performance, focusing on the band again, showing them all together, showing the instruments, making it all in time with the beats. Then after that, I'm planning to do some symmetry work of the brothers walking down some stairs or up some stairs, depending on the location, and showing, like, because of the symmetry, I might try and make it look like a split screen. My storyboard. I'm going to do again a performance, doing a close up of the lips perhaps of the lead singer singing "It's Hard, Believe Me, I've Tried." Then after that, I'll be going back to the narrative, in which case my idea was to have the brothers cross each other's paths and end up back to back in front of a clock, so I could do a time lapse. And try and do it as the busiest time, so that we can try and make this look as effective as possible. And if the idea doesn't work, I am thinking of doing some sort of overlaying with another clock on top to show like the time going faster and faster. Then the ending, I would like to fade it out into black and show the logo of the band, like the neighbourhood typically do, as I do like the way that looks.